How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, then you can get the right fuck out of here. This is Iron Fist, Season 1, Episode 2, Shadowhawk Takes Flight. Now, big prediction for this one, big-ish prediction for this one. So, I think last episode was a hawk, if I'm correct on the fact that it was a hawk, the bird that we saw, and also the tattoo on the guy that was with, I don't remember his name at all, the homeless guy that was also with Danny. So, the tattoo, I don't know if that was implying that he reincarnated as a bird and we're doing that sort of thing, or if that was a, it could be that and also, or just also it, the tattoo is of a gang, maybe? Gang might be the wrong word, but I'm not sure what better word to use for that. But yeah, Shadowhawk might be the name of a group. A gang is not the right word, but I don't know what word I'm looking for even. Something like they were together when they were younger and no longer. Something like that, but I'm not really sure what sort of word I'm looking for. That's my only guess, and I'm guessing Shadowhawk takes flight, or it might be the Hawks, or just something relating to Hawks is the group, and then Shadowhawk is a specific person that Danny's gonna have to fight this episode. Who would that be? I have no idea, because I don't think we've been introduced to anybody that I would think he's going to fight immediately. And Ward and Joy and the father, Harold, I believe, they're not really they're not really fighting, and if they do a thing that's going to be them fighting, it does not seem like they're going to do it this quickly. So maybe introduction of a new character, perhaps? That's my only guess, I guess. New character gets introduced. You get introduced to a Hawk band of Hawks. I get a band is, I think, a better word of what I was looking for. But yeah, and then I don't know. That's my only guess, and that's kind of loose. So let's get into it. Find out. If you want to see the full length for this, check it out on the Patreon below. There's a link to the Patreon below. For $4 a month, you can get the full length for this. I didn't mention that in the first time, and most likely I will put the finale for free for everybody like I usually do. Okay, First off, before I say anything, just notice this episode was longer than last episode. It felt 20 minutes shorter than last episode.
Okay, yeah.
In a good way. Again, we've discussed that 44 minutes or 50 minutes.
Sure.
44 to 50 is perfect.
Yeah.
Once you start going over 50, it is hard to make that work. It's even just a couple more minutes, it's still hard to make that work, I feel like.
Yeah.
And last episode felt like that, where it just felt a little bit too long. I don't know, just the pacing was a little bit off.
Yeah.
Whereas this one felt super perfectly paced, absolutely loved it, and it was longer.
Yeah.
Which is surprising, because it was basically kind of a bottle episode. But it did not feel that way at all. Or it definitely felt like that, but I didn't...
Right. I'd say it's
normally...
opposite.
Really?
It feels like a bottle episode, but it's definitely not. We do a lot of cutaways.
We do a lot of cutaways, but our main character being in one place that we are continuously seeing him in that one place over 72 hours feels very bottle episode to me.
Sure.
You can do a bottle episode while cutting away from the bottleness of it. That is the new bottle episode.
Sure.
There needs to be a term for a pure bottle episode versus something like this.
Right.
But yeah, it reminds me of the Daredevil episode where Matt and one of the Russians were in the building the whole episode.
Yeah.
And we're cutting around outside a lot, we're doing it, but it's still, I would consider that to be the bottle episode of the season.
Sure.
It is a very we want to have our main character stay in this one place, and it's just gonna be a talking episode where they can just work through their problems for the episode. I'm glad we got that in episode 2 rather than waiting a little bit to get it like most of the other ones we do.
Yeah. It feels like a big. We weren't sure if if people were able to, if people could get this character.
Yeah.
And he is a difficult character compared to a lot of the others who are very straightforward.
Yeah.
So I think it was really good to get this out of the way now.
Same with Harold and Ward and Joy. Last episode was setting up the premise and introducing the characters a bit and everything, but really this episode was heavy on the characters.
Yeah.
And we're not really going to advance much of the mysteries at all. Most of what we get is just teeny little bits more information on some of the mysteries, but it's so tiny. This is all just to reestablish the characters and to really ingrain you in who they are before we move on to the plot-heavy stuff, I assume. That's what it seems like to me. And before we like really talk about like what these powers are, what the temple is, what you know, blah, blah, like we brought in the hand, which I think like the main thing in this episode, like, you know, we got the answer of the hand, and like that was enough to be like, okay, I'm fine letting everything else be unanswered this episode, even the Hawk type thing. Fine with all that being unanswered as and keeping everything else character, because we got a big answer.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad that the hand is being important in this and everything. Like, boy, I went fucking nowhere in season 2 of Daredevil. So glad we're picking up it here. I don't know if it's going to like. I don't know how hand it's going to be, or if this is going to be super light hand stuff.
Sure.
Like it was in season 1. Like season 1 of Daredevil technically had the hand in it.
Right.
We just didn't know. But like, I wonder if it's going to be sort of the same thing.
Yeah. It's also helped me recontextualize the hand in Daredevil. Because up until this point, I have been thinking, like, are they going to be the big bads of season 3? Like, are we going to do a full hand season? Like, season 2 was very hand heavy.
Yeah.
But it was still like a half and half thing with Punisher.
It was almost all set up for the hand, it felt like.
Yeah. But with this, like, I think this, like, if Iron Fist is, you know, designed to fight the hands.
Yeah.
That is his purpose. So I feel like this was a universe thingy rather than just a Daredevil thing. Like, that they knew this was going to come, and they wanted to use Daredevil to help build it up.
And I think it would be very interesting if this continues over into Defenders. Defenders is immediately after Iron Fist, right? Because, again, Matt's whole thing in season 2 is a very, like, I want to, the stick with... Sorry, the Matt and Stick thing is very specifically a, like, Stick who needs him to be a part of this war and feels like Stick himself is not enough. Like, he needs all these, like, children and, like, you know, people that he's raising to fight and do this. Because he himself thinks that he is not powerful enough to do it. Whereas Matt was basically strong enough to just do it himself.
Right.
And, like, but Stick also wouldn't accept that. Like, that he couldn't, you can't just do this yourself. But it's like, Matt could just do it himself. But Matt shouldn't have to do it himself and didn't want to do it himself. It was a, like, fuck it, fine, I'll do it myself sort of thing. You know?
Classic.
And so, if Iron Fist can take over, like, I am the one who is designed to destroy the hand. I am the antithesis of the hand. Matt, you don't need to take it out anymore. Like, you did the big thing in season 2, and now, like, in Defenders, I hope we get, like, a thing between the two of them of, like, I'll take this over now. You can focus on the smaller stuff. You can focus back on Fisk again and all this other stuff, and I will worry about the hand and this weird Japanese people trying to kill you.
Right. I mean, I wasn't thinking about it until you just said it, but the fact that we're going Iron Fist Defenders, and I do know the turnaround between, like, Iron Fist and Defenders IRL was also very short.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be that. Like, there's nothing else I can think of in the Netflix series that they've built up more so than the hands.
Same.
Like, it can't be like, you know, Kingpin comes back and they all fight Kingpin, because we have a little bit of setup for that, but not that much.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the hand's been brewing for a long time.
Yeah, and we still have that guy from season 1 of Daredevil at the very end that, like, Stick was talking to that has never come back.
Yeah.
I know his name is Stone, I believe, but, yeah, so, like, they could do something like that as, like, a bringing in a character to also fight that we are going to see and then be like, oh, well, he's extremely powerful, and I recognize this person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they could do that. And as I said, like, of any cameo besides Claire's going to be in all of the Netflix series. I'm surprised she hasn't come up yet. I don't know when she's going to pop up. She might just pop up at the very end. But, because she's going to the dojo.
Yeah. Like, she took a while to get into Luke Cage.
She did, but it's not like she was... you know, because she took the flyer for the dojo, it's curious as to when she is going to take that flyer to the dojo. Like, I can't imagine that happening in the middle of the season. That's what I mean. Like, I guess it's going to happen at the end, an epilogue sort of thing, because I can't... If they didn't do it when we first introduced the dojo, I'm not sure when we're going to do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, can you think of a circumstance in which they would?
I mean, right now, Colleen's not really related to anything right now. Like, she's being noticed, but she's not, like, in any danger. I feel like...
I guess is what I mean is, like, if Claire just comes in to be like, hey, I want to join this dojo, it's going to feel really weird and very, like, hey, guys, look at the cameo, rather than feeling natural.
I don't know if I'd get that, because also, if we assume that she picks up the flyer, she looks at it, she might, like, thinks it over for a day or so, and then she goes, that's a good way of establishing, like, season 2 of Luke Cage, or, like, Luke Cage just happens.
Sure.
Like, I think I'd find that pretty fine, as a, like, okay, this is where it takes place, or, like, this is where they intersect.
I do know that all of this chronologically takes place after Luke Cage, though, so. Also, Did they say anything about like where this takes place? Is this in Hell's Kitchen? Not, I don't want to say city, but I mean like.
I don't think they've said anything. We've seen New York's Chinatown a bunch, so presumably it's in that area.
I have no idea where that is around.
Like
Matt's also gone there, so I assume it's near Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, but like it's not the same place.
Yeah,
I guess it's just what I wanted to say.
Yeah, but yeah, like we go to Chinatown, but that's not like where Rand is.
Right.
Rand is not in the Chinatown place.
Yeah.
But I do like that we're expanding. You know, I thought they were all going to. It seemed like they were with Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. That it was like all going to be, or not Luke Cage. Well, actually, yeah, with Luke Cage because Luke Cage was introduced in Jessica Jones and everything.
Sure.
I thought it was going to all be in Hell's Kitchen, but I'm glad we're expanding out to, but like in Daredevil as well with Chinatown and Harlem now, and yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, expanding New York. I mean, we already have Brooklyn and Queens, you know, plenty of the movie shit, so that stuff is so, you know, I like that the smaller ones are getting more focused.
Yeah.
Again, I honestly had no idea Hell's Kitchen was even a place other than the name of the show. I still remember my first reaction to that being like, wait, Hell's Kitchen? Like the place? And I meant like the restaurant.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. I think back on that and get so embarrassed. But yeah, I don't know when Claire's going to get involved, but however they do it, I hope it's not awkward. Stick, I feel like, is going to be very easy to naturally bring in here without it feeling awkward or anything. So yeah, I'm curious to how much hand they're going to do. It could be a lot, could be barely any, and setting it all up for Defenders, if that even is going to be the case. Who knows? So. Colleen, this episode, I really like her like her like stances or posture, the way she holds herself and everything. But like personality wise, I don't think they sold me on her yet.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, because again, this episode was all about the character and everything. But like they were the main personality we got from her was with the training exercise thing that she did, which I'm
really interested in that. That is extremely interesting.
Like she is training. Like I was willing to buy it as like just a pure training thing up until she said, like, this is how it is in the real world.
Right.
And like, she is training them to mug people.
Yeah.
So like
it is offensive. Like, she could have easily done the opposite of they're walking around and she goes up to each of them, like, mugs them.
Yeah.
So this is, like, it has to be deliberate.
Yeah. And like, it's not, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm trying to teach them how to hide their footsteps and like hide their presence and stuff like that. Like, that's what I thought it was. But the line of this is how it's in the real world is like, this is not just for extrapolating the stuff you're learning from this. This is specifically the way you're doing this is what I'm teaching you.
Yeah.
Curious about where we're going to go with that going forward. Because I mean, she doesn't seem to be a good person. I mean, like, she's kind of an asshole. It's very funny, but like,
I mean, I can understand how, like, if you live in New York, you might want mugging lessons.
Yeah, like, I'm curious if that is what we're going to lean into. Like, if it is going to be people come to my dojo to learn how to be better criminals.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be an interesting take, but I can't really talk about it yet because I don't have a handle on it. I don't know what they're exactly doing. But yeah, I'm really curious to see where she goes forward again. The katana, I'm so curious to see in a fight. But choreography, not that great, so...
Also, before I forget, the guy in the mental institution at the very end said, Ward Meacham sends his regards.
Oh, right. Oh, not Harold.
Yeah.
Ward Meacham sends his regards. Okay.
So that still tracks.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Like, Ward sent the previous assassins as well.
Yes, but... Ward just called on the phone and said, we're going to change what we're going to do with this person. After his father just told him he had to do it. Like, that is a big reveal. Like, he went against his father's wishes.
Yeah, like, very directly.
Yeah. So, okay. Right, okay, so I read that wrong. Because I was thinking, like, Harold. I mean, I was just thinking the Meachams in general, which either one of them would have been, like, yeah. I was thinking, like, Ward gave the order and then, you know, forgot to be like, oh, shit, I've told I gotta kill him. But, yeah, so, yeah, he's going directly against his orders.
Yeah, I think this is a good way to, like, in this episode, to separate out all the Meachams. Like, now we can't talk about them as a collective.
Yeah.
They each know different things. They're each doing vastly different things.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all over the place now.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I wouldn't have expected that from Ward. Especially with the like, all the stress he was feeling at the end there. It felt like he was buckling under and just, like, going into soldier mode. But, no. So, what is... Like, his plan was obviously just to have him killed there
Yeah.
by them, and then what would his what's his plan to deal with his father? Like, Ward does not really seem like someone that really thinks things through.
Yeah.
Like, he's the kind of person who gets in a problem and he goes, okay, let me big brain this. What's the smartest thing to do? Bam, that's the smartest thing to do. That's what I'm going to do. No other possibilities. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
And so that's probably is what's going on. He's like, my father's an idiot. I know what the smartest thing to do is. It's way too risky. My father can't see that, so I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't think about the consequences of his father finding out that.
Yeah.
Or maybe he thinks he could just play it off as like I didn't say anything. They're just crazy people. They just killed him. Maybe he thinks he can play that off. I don't know. I wonder if Ward has I wonder if Harold has done the same thing to Ward that his father did to Harold.
Maybe.
Like, it doesn't seem like it actually. Like, because he doesn't fear his father. It seems like he is really annoyed by his father.
Yeah. Like, the one thing we know is that, like, when Danny first showed up, Ward assumed, like, oh, is this another one of your, like, secret tests?
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely more of a, like, psychologically abusive dad rather than a physical one.
Same. That is the vibe I get, especially with Kyle and everything.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like his dad did that to him, and then he realized, like, that made me tougher, but I don't want these people to be tougher. Like, that made me into, like, this, like, I'm talking from his perspective,
Of course,
clear.
please.
But like, he's like, this made me into this tough, strong man and everything. I have all this confidence. I don't apologize for anything anymore. And although Kyle apologizing annoys him, like in the sense that like he looks down upon it, he wouldn't want him to not be doing that,
Right?
Because he doesn't want him to have that confidence. He wants to be able to trust them, but not to have the confidence. Same thing with Ward and everything.
Yeah.
Like, if he beats them, he thinks it's going to make, him retaliate against him or whatever, and he doesn't want that. He wants Ward to hate him, and he thinks, if I beat him, he's going to love me. So I can't beat him. I have to psychologically abuse him, because I want him to not like me. I want him to hate me and want to constantly be trying to prove himself to me.
Yeah. It's the classic set up two divisions in your company that fight against each other using twice the resources because you think it's going to be better.
Oh, yeah. And again, talking about the Vegans, I like the more characterization we get with Harold here, with him being so bold to like leave the penthouse, go out there, no precautions taken at all. Like walks right into Harold's or Danny's room and everything. Just no precautions. Talks straight to Danny, then just. It's like the drugs will, make him forget it. Like
he might just think this is an illusion.
Yeah. Like, he just doesn't care about the consequences of that at all.
Yeah.
They are both so, like, they come up with a plan and then they just do it, and it's like, this is the smart plan, though.
Yeah. And I can definitely see Ward's mentality in that I am definitely if someone keeps on asking me for a solution and I don't have a good one, like, I'm going to just do one very confidently, even if it's bad, because that's what they want. They just want a solution.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see that from Ward, whereas, like, Harold is the big overthinker.
Yeah.
He is.
I don't know if he's overthinking, though.
True.
Like, I think it's just that him and Ward are always thinking about different aspects of it.
Okay.
Harold's always thinking about himself and how can he benefit from it the most, whereas Ward is thinking how can the company benefit from the most, and what is the most, like, risk.
Sure.
Ward always worried about risk, Harold always worried about wasting power.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Wasting information, wasting power. He doesn't want to waste it. Ward would rather waste it than have the risk.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Harold, puts himself out there in front of him, talks to him face to face. He's like, it's worth the risk. I'm getting more information. I don't care. The more information, the better.
So this seems like the first time he's left the penthouse in a while.
Yeah. Now, where did you go? How did you read that? I've given my,
Yeah. I read that as a literal, like, where did you physically go just now?
Okay.
Like, I do...
Do you think they expect a reply on the window, or...
I don't think they expect a reply, because, like, the hand can also track people.
Yeah.
Like, they probably know where he went physically. I think it was more of a, like, you, like, as part of whatever's going on with us, you're supposed to be in the penthouse. You were not in the penthouse. It is we are watching you at all times, in case you forgot. We're gonna put someone there and, like, have them put their palm on there and write this backwards on, like, the 500th story. Because it's also like, he can't get that cleaned off.
No,
it has to stay there.
It's very much like well, this is here forever now.
Yeah.
No one else is gonna see it but me. But yeah, it to me feels like them going like, we helped with faking your death. Mm-hmm. In doing so, you have to stay in this penthouse. Mm-hmm. And you know, you have this money and control and everything like that, but really we're the ones in control here. And like, we're just kind of funneling money into you, and we just want the company to do this sort of stuff, and as long as you let us do this stuff, you know, maybe more of like the, give us a land here, give it to make a building, do a ritual, or whatever their thing was.
They're buying land, right?
Their thing was like we need this specific place right here with the hole and the whatever. I don't think we got the real answer as to that. I don't believe we figured out what that was.
Oh no, I didn't mean the hand. I meant Ward in that meeting.
Oh,
they were buying like docks or something.
Maybe. Let me check.
Yeah.
Okay, so warehouse is in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Brooklyn is interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it wouldn't be in Hell's Kitchen. They already got the one there. So,
yeah.
But yeah, do you remember if we got the answer to that in Daredevil?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
It was a big mystery box, mystery hole.
Big mystery hole, still.
Yeah.
A 2-season long mystery hole, right? Because that stuff was brought up in season 1, right?
Yeah. Which, again, like, that makes it feel like either it's going to be in Iron Fist or it's going to be in Defenders.
Yeah.
Because it's so big.
Yeah, again, in Daredevil season 2, I kept being like, are they going to revive, like, a monster? Like, are we going to get a monster fight? Because that feels like what we're building up to here. So, like, maybe that's what we can get in, you know, Defenders.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they're going to do with CGI and stuff like that, but I mean, like, even if it's just, like, a human that is, like, very disformed and stuff like that, I would be happy with that. But something cool, monstrous would be fitting for the hand. I want something creepy. Give me something creepy.
Yeah. Because also, like, now we have a character with, like, this energy punch power, like this thing that seems to be way stronger than Jessica or Luke.
Yeah, but also a not a one-time thing, but I have to charge up and then I do like that there's also it is an Iron Fist. It's not like I have 2 Iron Fists, my feet can do the Iron Fist thing.
It is Iron Fist singular.
I am a good fighter, also I can do the Iron Fist.
Yeah. It makes sense because, like, we have Jessica who can kind of do a bit of everything. She's super strong. Daredevil's agility. Luke seems like he's going to be the tank.
Yeah.
And now we have, like, the glass cannon. Like, the big DPS.
Yeah. I am a big fan of when they get me with these, like, you know, does this person have powers or not? The same thing with me with Jessica, which, you know, was such a, like, that was more obvious, but I was so much more willing to go, like, give it, you know, maybe, you know, like when she, like, jumps up and everything. Yeah. That was like that had to have been a jump, right? What else could that possibly have been? But we don't see it happen, so maybe not. But yeah, I'm actually a sucker for that. I really like how they did that with both of those. Also with Matt, kind of, you know, I mean, that's a whole debatable thing, but like,
we already had the fight over that one.
Yeah, but I feel like personally they've done a good job of slowly showing, like, Matt does have, like, superpowers in addition to just, like, heightened senses, which is already a superpower. But either way, I'm liking it. And, like, in the opening, where, you know, the little yellow flickers, where I'm like, is that something, or is that just stylistic? And like, now it's like, okay, so that is a thing. Like, it glows yellow. It's a really weird look, but but it's like, I don't think it looks bad. It is something that I did not expect at all.
Yeah.
Like
I've seen glowing energy powers in TV shows. They're usually pretty bad. I really like the shot of him, like, holding it to, like, not to his face, but near his face, and you can see the glow, like, reflecting off of him.
Yeah.
Like, they did it very well.
Yeah, they're doing a great job with it. I think what makes me think, like, I think it's gonna look cooler in, like, a costume thing. But, like, I think it looks fine by himself. When I picture him standing next to, like, the Defenders, like, and doing that, it's gonna look really funny, because they are all have the normiest power, like, you know, nothing about them looks like they have powers, and then Iron Fist is the only one who has, like, this glowing thing to him. That's why it was a little bit, like, funny to me. Yeah. Where it looks fine by himself, but when I picture him next to these other normal heroes. So yeah, it does seem like this whole show is going to be tackling on, like, people with mental issues and homeless people as well. But I mean, specifically, like, the fact that a lot of homeless people do have mental health issues because it's a cycle, you know? That's how it all happens and everything. And yeah, like now he's back to having nothing again, back to like not back to being like shoeless or anything.
Right.
Like I think that could have been like a cool reset of something.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would do that though, because it's a mental hospital. So, but yeah, it's basically the same sort of vibe. Like he is back to nothing, back on the streets, back to like just running around, and you know, like where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna go? I have no idea. I don't know where he could go. You know, back to the park. We're just gonna find him. So like, where is he gonna? He's like homeless and on the run. It's like, you know, Bruce Banner sort of thing. So yeah, I'm glad we're getting more into this and seeing. You know, I hope that the guy comes back. Do you remember his name? That was in the very beginning of the episode. The guy who looks like a younger Coulson. He looks like a combination of like Coulson and Martin Freeman put together.
He gave me a mix of Coulson and Ben from Lost vibes. Like especially at the start. Like
I don't know. He's way too like giddy.
I can imagine Ben just telling me you have to kill yourself and quickly do it.
I can, but not in this way. I don't get Ben vibes from that at all.
Okay.
But yeah, I really like him in the episode, and I hope that he continues to, you know, leave and everything. I thought the other three guys we were building, or more specifically the other two guys, along with the one.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of their names, but there's the three guys that Ward hired.
Right.
The like bald, really tall one. You know, they were establishing him as like this guy who got in here because he should have gone to prison.
Right.
I mean, I'm against prison too, but
sure.
you know, should have gone to prison and instead, you know, took an insanity deal and got put in here. But you know, the other two, I thought we were going to build up like he was going to have like this, not like a team, but like people that were going to help him break out or something.
Okay.
But like, no, that's not really where we went with that. They're just kind of helped the tall guy beat him up for some reason. I assume Ward also paid him off or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they like what. The prison guy, I could see, you know, Ward being like, I can get you out of here. Maybe he did the same with the other two or something, but like...
I mean, the door's also just open. Like, any of these characters can just leave and still be in the story, yeah?
Now, yeah. But I'm saying, like, at the time, like, what would they have wanted the money for? Because they know they're in here for life. You know, they know they ain't getting out of here. So, yeah, like, I'm just curious as to why they were able to be bought off. Probably not going to find out.
I mean, you can still get stuff even if you're in a mental institution for life.
Sure, you can, but it's like, you know, was he just saying like, I'll give you a couple $100? Like,
true, he does undersell people a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like how much money could he give them that would be worth it to kill somebody, and then also like, though, like if he's like, I'm gonna give you $25,000 or whatever, it's still like, I'm not gonna be able to spend $25,000 in this mental hospital, but also doing it for less than, I mean, $25,000 is also. So it's like doing it for less is not worth it. Doing it for more, you're not going to spend that amount of money. So it's curious as to how he was able to buy them off.
I feel like you can always spend the money. Yeah? That's life. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. You can spend the money somehow.
I feel like the only way that's going to be the case is if they would spend it to get them out, which is what I'm saying. The only thing I can think that he was able to bribe them on was if you do this, I can get you out of the prison or out of the mental hospital. Which now, if he's already opened up the door for them, maybe they would just be like, well, we're not going to still go after him. So, you know, I'm done. I'm out of here. Who knows? But either way, the other guy, the one you said, Ben Energy, Simon was his name. Yeah, he, I feel like, is definitely going to come back. Yeah. Like, he's definitely going to leave. I mean, he had the big, I want to leave. You know, I'm not sure why we didn't see him running out of there. It seems like he would do that immediately. But, that would be a weird thing at the end shot to just see Danny, like, confidently walking off and this guy running in the background. But, yeah, definitely we're going to get him, you know, some more. And, yeah, like, he's an interesting character. Like, you know, he's down the line of, like, you know, I like him a lot. He says a lot of, like, you know, cool shit, some real shit.
Sure.
But then the other time, he's also, like, not a great guy either. You know, he's iffy.
He's a jerk.
Yeah, he's a jerk. He's very, like, looking down on people and everything.
Yeah.
But, still, you know, I'll take what they can give me. I know they're not going to give me that much. Now, the psychiatrist, or the doctor, or whatever you want to say.
Now, I am actually curious. Where did you come down by the end of the episode on him?
He's just, like... man. They're going for, like, the sympathetic one. Like, he really wants to help him and everything like that, but he really doesn't. Like, he's not being malicious, like almost every other person in the hospital is.
Mm-hmm.
But hospital. But I really say facility.
Uh-huh.
I hate saying mental hospital because it's not a mental hospital. It is a mental facility.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, he very like Danny specifically says like, if you take me off the drugs, then I can do the Iron Fist, and he's like, maybe you should just consider that you're not the Iron Fist instead of me doing this very easily testable thing.
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, if they're trying to get across the idea that he wants to help him, they're not getting it across very well. Okay. He's not actually trying to help him in any way. It is just a like, I get why Harold would say that, but like as an audience, it is very clearly he's just kind of being the most lazy and incompetent about this. Like, you know, he's asking the bare minimum and then just like, all right, you're crazy, get out of here, and like not following up on anything and not like trying.
Right. It's like I get it. He is the system. He is the like. He keeps on doing this. He's done this so many times. It is the like, we don't have to pay him off because we know if we put someone in this institution, they're going to like be given medication. They're going to be given, you know, bigger diagnoses. They're going to spiral into each other. Like they're basically going to be there for life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's perfectly fitting. Like, it is so unbelievably frustrating for him to be like, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. Wait, you know what? He's not crazy. He is Danny Rand. I should have actually fucking believed him. What, you say you're the Iron Fist? Fuck you. Absolutely not. You're crazy. Get the fuck back. You're crazy. It's like,
yeah.
You say you want to help, and it's so clear that you don't.
I'm also very happy that we didn't do the character goes into a mental hospital with a, you know, like they're given a false diagnosis, and then they leave and they're like, well, I don't have a diagnosis. I'm fine. Like, no, Danny is not well.
Not well in other ways. I mean, he's not like schizophrenic. He's not like any of the things that they have diagnosed him with.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, like, even then, he does not have a schizophrenic, like, disorder in any way.
Yeah.
And the doctor is applying it to him just because he says, I am Danny Rand and I am also the Iron Fist. Right. Which is not being schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And he calls it anxiety disorder. Not that, but saying that people who think that they have superpowers, that is a common thing I see all the time. It's an anxiety disorder.
Mental health after the battle in New York it seems to be really like, I'm so curious as to why that has now like been distilled down into anxiety disorder.
Yeah. I mean, they don't even seem like they're implying that it's a thing. Like, he then brought on the incident thing after that. But even before then, he's like, there's a lot of people who then have superpowers and are around to fight power and be vigilantes. Like, that's such a thing in superhero stuff in general, of like, you're crazy. People do this all the time where they think they're a superhero, superpowers. That's not a thing. That's not a common thing. And yet, like, these kind of shows always act like that as a common mental health problem that people have.
I mean, in a world with superpowers, yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I agree. Like, once he started bringing up the incident and everything like that. But before that, he was just saying, like, this is a common thing that people have, you know, experienced before. But not a, like, then he brought on the, you know, post-incident, this has been happening a lot more.
Right.
Is what he says. Like, it's been happening plenty previous, is what he's implying. Can you imagine if every fucking middle schooler was sentenced to goddamn a mental hospital for Junievuism?
Yeah.
God. This episode does a great job of just frustrating the shit out of me with this place. But yeah, I mean, I really love sticking in the mental hospital the entire time, because the mental facility the entire time, because it is a great, like, it gets you as frustrated as Danny is.
Right. And boy, Danny is so bad at talking.
Oh, Danny's the worst.
Like, in episode 1, I was curious, like, is this the writing or is this Danny? In episode 2, it is very clearly Danny.
It is, yeah. He is, like, it's not like he has, like, social anxiety or he is bad around people. He just never really learned how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Because he grew up homeschooled. The friends he had were constantly bullying him and, like, you know, picking, like...
I mean, they're also rich.
Yeah.
Like, they had the same life experiences as him.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, even besides that, like, the fact that he grew up... I mean, like, we knew all that in episode 1. But even more than that, I mean, I guess we knew the bullying thing in episode 1, too. Either way, sure. The rich thing, growing up homeschooled, growing up with these kids who are constantly bullying him and belittling him, and like even Joy and everything, like not sticking up for him anyway,
Right.
putting words in his mouth and blaming him for shit, and yeah, not really meeting anybody else, seemingly really never leaving this building. It seems like
Yeah.
barely ever, to just do a photo shoot, go to the circus and stuff, but not much more than that. And then yeah, spending all his other time in another dimension.
Yeah.
It can, yeah, it's
Maybe heaven, depending on how you take it.
yeah, maybe heaven. Yeah, I can see why he is really bad at talking to people,
Yeah.
and why it took him so long. Like, still a big stretch, but I'll buy why he's stupid enough to not like say, here's a thing that you would know about me.
I don't have to stretch in the slightest. I have had too many conversations where I'm talking to someone and they're like, well, yeah, that whole thing was implying that I was talking about China, right? You knew that, obviously. I never said that. But obviously I meant all of that in from the 5 years I spent in China that you didn't know about.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Like having a long conversation where someone else has a bunch of context that they just don't tell you. And they
Right.
assume that you have read their minds. Like, that is what I get from Danny constantly.
Okay, I definitely don't get that from Danny.
That is why, hearing him talk to, the Meachums, it feels so natural, because it is the, yeah, you know all this stuff. I don't need to explain most of this, because you know it's me. This is just the formality of me saying, yeah, it's me, Danny, obviously.
I mean, I get that. When Danny first showed up and said, it's me, Danny, and, didn't understand why they didn't believe it was Danny, I get that fully, because, yeah, I also didn't understand until we saw the picture of young Danny, and he has different hair, he has different complexion, he is a different person, basically.
Yeah, but, I also get that whenever he talks about Kunlun, where, he'll bring it up as if it's, he never does the MCU movie thing of going okay, guys, I know this is gonna be a weird one, let me lay this on you real small. He's always just yeah, I'm from heaven.
I mean, he only says that when people press hard enough that he thinks they'll believe him. He started getting happy and was willing to say all that because he was, acknowledging him as Danny.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he did that with Colleen in episode 1, though, where she was talking about his, martial arts training. He was oh yeah, I trained Kunlun.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get that, because, now we know it's a different dimension, that's a different thing. But, before, it seemed like, if I grew up only ever seeing these, Chinese people, and I've never seen any of the Chinese people in my life, Clee's never even left this building in his life before, comes here and he's she probably knows them.
Yeah.
I kind of get it.
Same. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He feels like everyone else has more context than they do.
I don't get that with Ward, and, I don't see what that has to do with not saying, here's a thing to prove I'm Danny.
Because it feels like he's not saying that stuff because he's well, obvious. I don't need to say that.
When he first got introduced to them, yes.
No, even near the end, he does not give them any more information. It seems like he's still waiting for them to go oh yeah, we were just playing around. Yeah, of course you're Danny.
I just don't get that.
If Joy hadn't sent the M&Ms, I don't think if Joy hadn't sent the M&Ms and he could go back to the Rand building, I don't think he would give them any more information. I feel like he would still be yeah, your dog, you live in my house.
Okay, what was the difference between Ward and Joy then? What's the difference between Ward and Joy in terms of willingness to tell them all this stuff that is very specific to let them know that it's Danny? Because he does that with Ward. So why would he do that with Ward and then not do it with Joy, because he thinks that they both have the same context, but Ward would. I don't see why.
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't get it either.
Yeah. I'm willing to let it go. I just don't think it makes sense.
I thought the passport was a really good bait and switch.
The password?
Passports.
Oh, the passport.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe it or not.
Okay.
Danny says it, and almost everything Danny says is the truth.
Right.
So I want to believe it, but he seemed so shocked by it originally. I don't know why he would be shocked by it if it was not, if it was true that he faked it, unless he left it somewhere and somebody found it. Nobody would be on him.
I took it as just he didn't want to go to jail, because when he admits that it is his passport, he also says, "Yeah, I know it's a federal crime."
Yeah, but again, I thought that was just an excuse. Like,
I didn't get that.
I
I thought it was a, like, again, because he is this rich kid and because he's been isolated, he was like, well, I used illegal passports and it has someone else's name on it, but I'm not going to say that I, used an illegal passport.
okay.
I'm going to get in trouble.
I took that more as a, like, okay, I have to get out of here somehow. I have to explain this somehow. I'm going to say that, like, yes, I lied, but I'm not going to say that I am, this person, because then they're going to keep me in here longer. I'm going to say that, like, I stole a passport. That is a federal crime. I am saying this. That's, a big deal that I'm saying this, so you believe me, right? Like...
See, I can't take that because in every other situation, he refuses to do a small white light to make it easier. Like with Kunlun, for instance, like he could have said,
I mean, the small white light has to be there somewhere. It has to be on either side.
Yeah, but like in any other situation, he could have said something like, I just, trained at a dojo or something without saying specifically what it is. Every time someone asks him for more, like, detail, he does go into it, and it's always the truth.
I think that's because in every other time, he believes that they're going to believe him.
Okay.
Whereas in that circumstance, he knew that the doctor does not believe him, so he's saying, again, I believe him now in retrospect, but in the moment, I took it as a, like, I don't trust this person, so I'm going to try and lie my way out of this thing. Whereas, again, every other circumstance where he's talked about Kunlun or talked about any of the weird stuff, it is after somebody has said, yes, I believe you, you can talk to me, I am your friend and I will trust you, and then they go, fuck you, you're crazy, I hate you.
Right.
So, like, yeah, I think it all tracks.
Okay.
But, yeah, I don't know about the, I don't know. Maybe he was, I believe that he was just lying about the passport originally, and then the saying that it was a federal crime and that he, like, stole it is true.
Okay.
I think that is true. And yeah, we were setting up that Harold's going to fight him, definitely. Or maybe not. Yeah, I think they're going to fight. Like, I was like, he's trying to get him on his side and everything, but I mean, he's not going to be on his side.
Yeah.
They're going to fight.
Now, how do you think they're going to even that up if that ever happens? Like, do you think it's going to be a Harold gets powers, or is it going to be a Danny, like, can't use his fist for whatever reason?
Yeah, it could be that they just drug Danny while, like, Danny is being drugged, or like, gets tranquilized. Like, they should have tranquilizer dart at him and he has to fight while he's going through it or something. Like, because, like, that seems to be, a reoccurring thing we're doing here with him, is, like, drugs are making him, I mean, it's not that drugs are making him unable to do his Iron Fist thing. It's just making it harder for him.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just drugs are playing a big part in this thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious as to if it's going to be something like that, where they're, instead of heightening Harold, are they going to impair Danny?
Right.
But I feel like that's going to make for a uninteresting final fight. But to be fair, that is the exact same thing they did with Luke Cage. I mean, that is what they had to do.
Yeah.
They're like, how do we have Luke Cage fight somebody interesting? We have to instead just impair Luke Cage.
I mean, they did both, though.
I mean, they did do both.
Yeah.
But, like, for the most part, it was, hey, like, we do have to impair, like, he is impervious. We have to have an injury to be able to make the fight matter so he can get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, it's also been a trend through, I think, all of the Netflix series. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've ever seen the final boss in the first, like, half of the season.
I mean, Fisk, Kilgrave.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, you're right.
2 out of 4.
2 out of 4. You got me.
But yeah, what was it? What were we talking about? That really quick. With Diamondback, like, if he was a normal person, he would be able to do literally nothing to Luke, at all in any way. Same with, like, Harold, as a normal person, would have been able to do, like, nothing to the thing. So I think, like, they do have to establish that he is, like, a boxer, he fights, and kind of show us that here. Whereas, like, even if they did something like that with Diamondback, I think I would have bought it more of, like, I mean, if it wasn't Luke Cage or whatever, but, like, Diamondback appears as a gun guy, so they have to give him a thing that, like, makes you go, like, okay, so he can fight, like, he's going to fight now. But I don't think that's making him level up or anything. It was just kind of like showing this is how he's going to fight with fisticuffs, because if he just fought with normal fisticuffs, it wouldn't be interesting in any way. And so, like, I think the main thing is the, like, we had, like, even with this suit, he would do literally 0 damage to Luke if he wasn't already, injured. So,
Right.
like, it was they have to impair him. I feel like it's going to be the same thing here. Like, the
Makes sense.
boxing thing was the suit, if that makes
Sure.
sense. It is the, like, we're showing you this is how he's going to be able to fight, but you're still thinking, that's not enough, right? I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about the lyrics to Danny Boy? Like, that were specifically mentioned. That feels like heavy foreshadowing, in addition to just
Yeah.
working in the moments.
Let me go back to that. I was about to talk about something else, but you know what? Let me go back into that. I don't know what it could mean, because it seems like it's already all happened. Like, he is dead, Danny is dead, and then you will come find me where I am lying. Well, I mean, I guess that's more towards him. I guess he's saying that about Danny. I was thinking more
Yeah.
towards himself, like Danny has come back to New York where Harold is lying, but I guess it's the other way around.
I think it'd be both. Like, in this moment, he came and found Danny, and eventually Danny's gonna have to come to him.
Yeah. And the prayer for him being Danny himself. Harold is saying, like, God, please help me, the can is gonna kill me, and then them saying, here's Danny for you.
I could definitely see that.
But yeah, again, we're them both being dead is an interesting, thing that we are going with. Because again, the heaven thing with Kunlun, I don't have any specific theories or anywhere we're going with that, but I mean, it's just a thematic thing I'm noticing, but I don't know what to say more about it.
Yeah, like, they're definitely building up a parallel. And also with, like, Danny having, rarely ever left his house when he was a kid, and now Harold's in a situation where he can, he shouldn't ever leave his house.
Yeah.
But, no one, he doesn't say no to anyone. He will do it, but now he's terrified.
And the 7 capital cities of heaven.
Yeah.
What is heaven? Heaven seems a bit scary. Do you think we're going to get an image of the place next episode of Kunlun, or do you think we're going to still hold off on it? We see, if I believe, a little building in one of his shots, like when he's up on the rock and everything. In the background, I believe we see like a pyramid sort of building thing. It looks way more Mayan-like, but I mean, it's so faded and low
Right,
detail in the background, I can't really tell. I mean, like, obviously Chinese, but I'm saying, like, it's that was like the shape of it.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to do it halfway through the season. Like, I think we're going to have at least an episode 2 or 2 of, we're going to see some hand members, they're going to be mysterious. We're going to eventually see, like, someone who knows Danny from Kunlun who's, like, come here, or, like, depending on how that works.
Yeah.
And I think we'll like, slowly build up to when we first see Kunlun.
Yeah, we're probably gonna see the people, and, like, maybe some rooms before we see, like, the big place.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to do it the way most TV shows do it. We're going to have, like, one big shot, and then everything else is going to be inside of rooms or, like, outside on the streets.
Oh, yeah. Outside on the streets of heaven.
Yeah.
The streets.
It's going to look like normal streets.
The streets. I know it is. I mean, they did a good job of making the place on the moon.
Attilan?
They did a good place of making that look extremely distinct. Like, whenever we were on Attilan, I felt like we were on Attilan on the moon. I never felt like they were just in a city. So, I hope we do the same thing here.
Okay.
Whereas, like, Afterlife and S.H.I.E.L.D. definitely just feels like just a town in China. And then it's like, yeah, this is just a town in China. So, yeah. I'm also so glad that we are doing, like, when he's like, where is this place? Or is this in China? And he's like, no, not China. I was so ready for him to say, a place farther than China.
I mean, that said, it's Madame Gao from heaven.
Oh, shit. I didn't think of anything about that. Okay. So that's where we're going with this. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily, but maybe.
I mean,
because, like,
it has to be.
Like, the wording is very specific, and it's all in the Netflix series.
Yeah. Also, I feel like that might be how we actually do I speak all languages. Like, maybe that was true.
Huh.
I mean, again, I took it as true in the fact,
Right.
but it's true in the sense where you go like, I'm sure I believe you, but do you mean like you know one word in every language?
It's a wild statement.
Yeah. So maybe there is someone, because like he knows Mandarin perfectly better than Colleen does.
Yeah.
And that could just be because Colleen has lived here her entire life and her parents barely spoke Mandarin. But it could also be that they have a way of just like, I'm gonna put Mandarin in your head, bitch. There you go. Now you speak Mandarin.
And we also have like the hand have like the zombies that they can summon,
Yeah.
which like they did the classic
Summon.
or not summon, like bring back to life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, summon is probably not the right word, and because they have to like farm those.
Yeah.
That's something that takes time. Is a whole, which I do love. I love that it's a whole ritual thing.
But yeah, like we've kept that ambiguous as to like, is this a scientifically possible thing? Like, is it the super science side of the MCU or is it magic?
And we did do the thing there with like the kids were, even when they were fixed, we got that like shot of them being like, ooh, but I actually am kind of evil
Yeah.
still. I do like evil. So yeah, that's still a possibility. The mental facility might be a possibility for the hand to use people from.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely. Were you going somewhere with that?
When was I?
I don't.
I was talking about Kunlun.
You're talking about the zombies. Like they could summon the zombies and.
Just that that is literally resurrection. Like
okay, that's
like
what
if
you're
you
saying. Gotcha.
yeah. Like if you could learn that anywhere, it'd probably be heaven.
Or hell.
Yeah.
I mean, they're digging a hole straight down.
True.
Maybe it's just hell.
Could be hell.
If we, again, I want them. I said this season 2. I want to see Matt fight a demon.
Oh.
There's nothing I want to see more than Matt fight a demon. Oh, I meant to actually talk about it at the beginning, but again, I really like how in Daredevil it is just like Matt is just like a dude in Hell's Kitchen who is just fighting a little crime, fighting Fisk and everything, and he's got Stick, and Stick is trying to involve him in everything, but he doesn't like know the full extent of it, especially because Stick is keeping all of it from him. So it is so crazy the first time where it's just like, okay, there's just a bunch of ninjas attacking us now. Like, you know, there's just it does just feel like, all right, a whole ass faction just hates you and wants to kill you, Matt.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're just suddenly all about you. And so like getting this, which is so much more focused on the hand, like if they introduced the hand for the first time here, it wouldn't feel as, you know, crazy as it did in Daredevil, where it was like, okay, we're ninjas are shooting arrows in our car. Okay, what's happening?
The 15-year cycle is also a really good way to explain, like, why hasn't Kunlun done anything about the hand, like, through all of Daredevil, or even, like, in the flashbacks? Like, why has Stick been fighting this war by himself if there's a whole faction with one guy who's designed to kill the hand? It is they physically couldn't do it until right now.
Yeah, it also, like, I didn't think about that, but we did get that, which is a big answer, you know, on top of the hand. So we got, like, 2 big answers to the questions of why so long, and, like, what does he mean, like, what, when he says, like, I am the protector of, I don't remember what the words he used was. Something like, I'm the protector of Kunlun, or I'm the guardian of Kunlun, the warrior, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, why come to New York? And so, again, did they send him to New York because of the hand? Is he, like, he doesn't seem to know that, but were they like, all right, it's time, you know,
right?
You go to New York, or did he just like, all right, I'm going home now, you know? Because that kind of seems like what it was.
Yeah.
But he also is the, you know, I am the immortal Iron Fist. Is there other Iron Fists? He was kind of acting like there's just one.
He said that he was the latest in like a long
Yeah,
line.
which implies that like
is it a you retire and someone else takes it but you're still around, or is it a you have to die?
Is it Black Panthers sort of thing?
Yeah, because also immortal, like if Kunlun is in heaven, then you can be immortal and also like, you know, stop being Iron Fist if it is a like, you know, you don't get to go back to Earth anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I mean, the immortal thing is interesting. I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
Because he definitely ages and everything, so it's not something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he became Iron Fist, you know, right before he left, and now he's not going to age anymore. We haven't really talked about Joy at all.
Yeah.
But Joy is a trip. Boy,
yeah.
Like, I really want to see what her life was like growing up with the Meacham family and everything.
Yeah.
Because she is so like passively evil. Right? Like she just like you know, I think the thing that really exemplifies her character is when in like one sentence where she's just like, you know, this is the like right thing to do. We are helping this person. Unless it is my friend, then, in which case this would be a really terrible thing to do because I know them. Like, nothing changes. It's just but if this was Danny, this was my friend, this would be very bad. Oh, so exemplary. Yeah. Whereas, like, I think, like, it's perfect for her coming to, like, when Ward's like, no, we gotta keep him there. We just said this is for the betterment of him, which is definitely not. But, you know, if from his perspective, or the way he can lie to her about it is saying, we both said that this is better for him. What do you mean we're going to take him out now because you believe this is Danny? Even if it is Danny, we said this is for the betterment of him.
Right.
Was that a lie? You know? And so he really, you know, her passive evilness works for him because she's not really going to do anything too extreme, I don't think.
Yeah.
And even it seems like the poisoning or the drugging him with tea maybe might have been, I don't think it was Ward's idea, but it was maybe something they talked about.
Yeah. I can definitely imagine that it is Ward is the more, he learned more from his dad. He is the more impulsive one. He's the one who can, talk her into any situation.
Yeah.
And it was only afterwards when she was like, that was actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it at the time. That was messed up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like her giant drawer of M&Ms.
Oh, yeah.
At her desk.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But, what was her plan?
For
the M&Ms. To her, she was going to send him M&Ms.
Yeah.
And then he was going to do what? Ask one of the doctors, can you send this to the Meachams? I mean, it's not a bad plan. It's just does she think that would have happened? Does she think they would have let him do that?
I mean, eventually.
Eventually,
you can send mail out of a facility like that.
You can, but, to the Meachams?
Hmm.
I mean, it feels like it would, she would probably be like, oh, yes, I would want this, of course. But, they would not be like, if some random person was put there by the them, somebody faking an identity, put there by the Meachams, and then is like, I want to send these M&Ms to the Meachams. They're like, you poisoned those. No, you did something. I don't know what you did, but no.
Right.
It's also so wild that they let him have an open pack of M&Ms.
See, I assumed they opened the M&Ms.
Okay, you're right. You know what? That makes more sense. Because it was also, scissored off.
Yeah.
Which is what was so weird to me. But, but it was in the package. So, they got the package, opened the package, scissored it off, closed back up, gave it back to him.
Yeah. That makes sense, because we see, when Joy puts it in, it's not open. So it had to have been
right.
Facility staff. I know that happens.
You're right. It's just so weird. But the fact that they put it back in an envelope and everything, as opposed to just okay, here you go. But you're right. That is probably what that is.
Yeah.
Because, some people wouldn't have the strength to open it and everything.
But I will definitely take your, criticism about the possibility of him sending it back.
Yeah.
Because also, Colleen just kind of walked up to an exec office and was like, hey, here's a bag of M&Ms.
Yeah.
Well, no, here is an unlabeled bag.
Then he does send them back an opened bag of M&Ms.
Yeah.
To which they say, yes, we're going to let Colleen just hand this right to Joy and no questions asked. They called her up and everything, but the fact that it's... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man. So, the two monks, do you think we're going to, Chodak and Tashi, we named them and everything? I mean, that could just be to get their names, but do you think they're going to be the ones that appear and, talk to him and stuff?
No, I think we're going to have at least one, long, entire episode, flashback episode, and that's where there'll be importance.
Okay.
Yeah. They might show up, though. Again, if this is a, City of Heaven, then they might, come down as just a, hey, we looked like this when we found you as a kid. We still look like this. Just the casual, we really don't change.
Well, wouldn't he know that?
I mean, for the audience. For
us,
okay. We were watching.
I was like, why would they be doing this to him? Okay. But, because of what you were saying, maybe somebody's going to be walking around New York and recognize him or something. Or not, but, be there to talk to him and say, hey, you need to fight the hand now.
Yeah.
But, and I could see it being them, too. But I don't know. It seems like a very obvious thing to do. I can picture the scene so clearly in my head, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to do that. Do you think those 4 people, that Colleen was training, are going to fight Salvati?
I think they will at some points. I don't know if it is going to be they actually are mugging people, or if it's going to be a heroic, Colleen needs to save Danny, and Danny's been drugged, and Harold's beating him up, and then the 5 of them show up and all start fighting Harold.
Yeah. That's...
Like, I could definitely see the series doing
That's what I feel like.
like in episode 2 they all suck, and then by episode 11 we don't like follow them a lot, but by episode 11 they have grown and they are like, you know, fighting ninja or something.
Yeah. I could see that.
Mhm.
Has every one of the Netflix series so far had one episode end with the characters leaving a warehouse during nighttime and then running off into the distance as the camera pans back? Like, I think that specific shot we've gotten so
yeah.
much.
I would be comfortable in saying that they've all done it.
I think so. All in season 1 too. Anyway, I guess that's it for this episode.
Yeah.
I think we're done. We're excited to see him use this power now going forward. Like, now we've already got it in episode 2. Actually, one last thing.
Uh-huh.
This episode was called Shadowhawk Takes Flight.
Oh yeah, that's actually a big one.
That's a pretty big one. So, like, you know what? Your theory of somebody being in New York and waiting to talk to him and everything is
Oh.
probably that bird. And that's why he keeps
Maybe.
looking at it going, oh, that's Derek, the bird.
Yeah, like I could see it in both ways. As like you said in the reaction, like A, that bird might be someone. B, does the bird symbolize Danny? I do think it's both. Like this is also the Shadowhawk, like Danny taking flight. It's like leaving at the end of the episode.
Why is he the Shadowhawk?
I don't know. But like they in episode 1 they did a lot of like, here's the hawk, here's Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's something that he. If it was supposed to be Danny, I don't think they would do the bird is outside and free this whole time. You know, they're doing a big thing like that. I think it is. It's got to be something with reincarnation, but it also seems like. I don't know. Maybe he was just remembering that guy at the beginning.
Maybe.
They're just like, oh, that guy was a cool guy. Iron Fist. But like, what else would it be?
Actually, do you think he might come back?
As a just hey, I'm a bird now.
Or just as a person? Like he dies and then he comes back.
I don't think that's how. If it was something like that, I think it would be the bird transforms back to a person and it's him.
Okay.
But no, I think if the bird is a person, like if it's a bird's gonna transform from bird to person, which also they could just do so easily. It's just like a bird flies behind a building and the person walks out every time.
Yeah.
It's the classic thing ever. Even animation does that.
Yeah, Ruby can't animate a transformation.
They cannot do it. So, I mean, that's also a like engine, you know.
Turning people to hawks it's hard.
It is. So, if we do that, it's a very easy effect for them to do.
Yeah.
I think it would be somebody from Kunlun. If it is just reincarnation and we are just going to say that this bird is that homeless guy from the beginning,
Right.
then I don't think it's going to transform back to the homeless guy.
Sure.
That's where I'm going. But otherwise, the Shadowhawk could be Ward.
Oh. Like him sending these guys to kill Danny is him taking flights.
Yeah. That's the only other thing I could think of.
I can see it.
His expression is so like, it's, you know, like like he's happy to see it. And like it seems like when he first saw it, it was is that blank? And now it's that is blank. It was in
Right.
front of the moon, which makes me immediately know that it is that one. Or it is this person, or it is,
Yeah.
you know. But again, it could very well be just him being like, that does remind me of that homeless guy with the tattoo.
I mean, it can be multiple things.
Again, I mean, in that moment, the expression cannot be multiple things.
Mm.
The expression cannot be, that is my friend Derek, and also it reminds me of this homeless guy. Like, I think that's too much on this expression. The expression's gotta be one thing that he's thinking right there.
Mm.
And I don't know what it is.
I like birds.
Oh, bird!
I will say, like, I'm hoping we get more with Danny's rage, like, slash we explore him a little more. Because I do think the whole, like, I think best, like, you know, when I'm getting my ass beat, is kind of discount Daredevil. Like, that's also sort of Matt's thing. Like, specifically the, like, I gotta get beaten a lot, and then it clears my head, and I get into that fighting spirit.
I guess.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think about that with Matt. I didn't know it was Matt's thing.
Yeah.
Like, Matt's thing I think of as being the get back up, like, always get back up sort of thing. But I don't think of it as being the, like, that clears his head.
Okay.
That is definitely what is happening when I'm thinking back on it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't think they play it up that much.
Okay.
Like, I think it's just kind of like I think it's kind of just a thing like Matt takes some time to get into the fight. Like he just takes. I think it just has to do with his senses more than his like. I don't know, maybe. And maybe I'm reading into it wrong, but it feels like a thing of like, not that he's distracted, but that I don't know how to fight these people yet. Okay, now I know how to fight these people.
Okay.
Or like a lot of times, isn't him getting beat up? Like Stick would give him advice, and then he would be able to do the fight now,
Right.
or something, rather than like, you know, oh, I got beat up enough times, so now I know. I don't know. I don't really get that.
Okay, that's fine.
But I do think that it's just not that interesting of a thing in general, of a trope or, you know, personality trait thing.
I mean, it's a very easy thing to do for a hero, because then it is why doesn't this person win in the first few minutes? Is so we can let them get their ass beat a whole bunch and then show them, you know, reacting to it, and then they get up and then they win.
Yeah. Like, I think the way that I prefer it to be done is like the Black Panther style, where it's, you know, if you punch me, I can take that energy and retranslate it out. Like, if his was, the more I get beat up, the more of their chi I take, and then I can funnel that all into my fist and, you know, do it an Iron Fist.
Right.
Because, yeah, that could be a thing. But, like, I think just the, like, you know, oh, when I get beat up, it clears my head, and it's, I don't know. It's also a bit too edgy for Danny, I feel like. Like,
yeah.
I'm interested in where they're going to go with it, because that's not where I thought they were going to go with it. I was hoping they were going to go more in a just, like, neurodivergent, you know, direction with it, but it seems like it's just kind of a abuse thing. I mean, like, it's still kind of the same thing, but it seems like it was brought on more from abuse rather than, like, from, it's just, like, the plane crash. Like, it feels like this is brought on from his training, as I said. Rather, like I said back in episode 1. And again, it feels like this is from his training, not from the crash, which, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to have to wait until we go
Of course.
But, that's it. Finally. See you guys for the next episode. Until then, get the fuck out of here.
Just barely got longer than the episode.
Every time. I cannot do a discussion now without it being longer than the thing.